The work of Action for Hope is very important now in the Arab region in particular, because this is a time when a lot of social and political realities are changing, and they are changing in a violent way. Sometimes these changes take the form of armed conflicts, sometimes they take the form of harsh economic conditions imposed on societies. This results in a lot of pressure, a lot increased poverty, and a lot of social tension.
Nearly 90% of Syrians live below the poverty line.
People are in shock, but anger is also growing at a political class.
In a region like the Arab region, where there are many violent conflicts, where there are many social, political, and financial crises, people from marginalized communities do not have access to culture.
Action for Hope was founded in 2015 to provide cultural development and cultural relief programs that meet the social needs of distressed and displaced communities. We believe in the role of arts and culture in empowering people.
The need to express ourselves in a creative way is something very innate to human beings, and it's something absolutely necessary for our mental health even. And this is true for us, it's true for everyone, and of course it's true for marginalized groups.
بس إلنا 5 سنين سامحينه يتحكم بحياتنا. وين بنروح ووين بنيجي؟ شو بناكل وشو بنشرب؟ وتحقيق على الطالعة والفوتة، والحجة شو إنه نسوان لحالنا.
We aim to contribute to the diversity of cultural life in the countries we're present through the work and the productions by artists from marginalized and displaced backgrounds. Also aim to contribute to the preservation of the cultural heritage of those communities by highlighting it and supporting its study and practice. We also lead and stimulate discussions and collaboration among civil society organizations and advocate the role the arts could play in their work.
Even if we hire more staff, get more money, we still cannot meet the demands that are growing everywhere. It is time for us to start changing our ways a little bit and empowering others to do what we have been doing. And thus, instead of jumping like firemen everywhere, we would be helping establish many fire squads across the region and training them and giving them resources to do work like the work we are doing.
Hi, Basma. How are you doing?
Hi, Ellen. Hi.
So Basma, so let's just dive right in.
I'm a member of the board of Action for Hope. As a member, I was invited and allowed to sit in the fire workshop offered by the Ford Foundation to our organization, among others. And during the workshop, I had the chance to learn a lot about the financial aspect as well as the fundraising and communication aspect of an organization.
So it was important to bring Brigitte into this because I thought she would be the best person to explain FIRE to the board.
When you have a board member joining the team and being committed and attending the FIRE program, how it made it easier for the organization because all of them are now on the same page of what they need to do, what are the actions that they need to take.
The dashboard was one of the very important elements that we learned, and it allows the organization to plan for the future and avoid to be confronted to any unforeseen problems.
Fire helped us develop a reserves policy, something that we never thought about before. We were working all the time, fundraising all the time for our activities, and didn't think at all about having a reserve that we can rely on if we have a crisis.
to be able to create a reserve fund that we were not really aware of before. We had it in a very small percentage, but through the workshop we learned how to develop it and how important it was.
Now, thanks to FIRE, we have a reserves policy, we have a small operational reserve, and we have an emergency reserve, and we have also a staff protection reserve. We hired a new grants manager, and this was a direct advice given to us by the FIRE program, and it was clearly very good advice and that we needed very much. Having a grants manager allowed us to plan our funding in a much better way, to diversify our funding resources, and gave operational staff like myself, the programs manager, and also our financial and legal manager, more time to attend to the other aspects of our work.
Now we think more like as a team. We think that we need to do fundraising together, to analyze possible future funders together, to look for funding opportunities together. Currently, we are looking for donors that are willing to cover our core support costs, because this would give us the necessary flexibility and freedom maybe to actually make the necessary change according to the circumstances.
The current resource mobilization plan is developing a fundraising plan, maintain a strong relation with the actual donors, develop alternative sources of funding, convince donors to include reserve in the proposals.
The circumstances in the Arab region is something that is constantly changing because of the different conflicts and crises that we have. So having this flexibility with core funding support is absolutely necessary for organizations like ours.
A large number have graduated from our programs after getting the needed skills to work professionally in arts. We have more than 110 graduates from our music schools, more than 60 graduates from the film school.
The future vision of Action for Hope, that it will become a major resource organization for activists, culture managers, artists, working within communities in crisis and marginalized communities. The organization should be able in the future to provide such people with the knowledge resources, the learning, the training, the financial resources, the technical assistance they need to provide cultural services to their communities. And they in turn will be providing these communities with creative tools that can empower them and help them be part of social change.
Improving the financial situation of Action for Hope in general and Landscapes of Hope in particular will give us a chance to take a project like Requiem for Justice to the next level and give it international exposure. In addition, it will give us the chance to foster national networks in 3 different countries from 3 different regions that will carry the message of the role of cross-sector collaboration and the role of the arts in bringing about effective social change.
The future is in the right path. The future is more clear and secured, knowing that the financial strategy became more solid and more healthy.
الحنة الحنة يا قطر الندى شباك حبيبي يا روحي قال لا